దూర విద్యా విధానంలో డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ దేశంలోనే మొట్టమొదటి సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం. దాదాపు 2.5 దశాబ్దాలుగా దూర విద్యా విధానం ద్వారా కంప్యూటర్ కోర్సును అనుసంధానం చేస్తూ BA, BCom, BSc డిగ్రీ కోర్సులను అందిస్తోంది. పోస్ట్ గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్ స్థాయి, డిగ్రీ, డిప్లొమా స్థాయి కోర్సులను ఔత్సాహికులైన విద్యార్థులకు అందిస్తోంది. డెవలప్మెంట్ స్టడీస్లో సెంటర్ ఫర్ ఎకనామిక్స్ అండ్ సోషల్ స్టడీస్ ద్వారా ఎంఫిల్, PhDతో పాటు విశ్వవిద్యాలయమే స్వయంగా దూర విద్యా విధాన అంశంపైన PhD వంటి పరిశోధనా కోర్సులు ప్రవేశపెట్టింది. రాష్ట్ర వ్యాప్తంగా సుమారు 4.5 లక్షల మంది విద్యార్థులు ఈ విశ్వవిద్యాలయం నుంచి ఉన్నత విద్యావకాశాలు పొందుతున్నారు. డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం స్థానికంగా స్వయం బోధనా పద్ధతిలో ముద్రణ రూపంలో రూపొందించిన కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అందిస్తోంది. కోర్స్ మెటీరియల్ అధ్యయనానికి సహకరించే విధంగా రేడియో, టెలివిజన్ పాఠ్యాంశాల ఆధారంగా కార్యక్రమాలు ప్రసారం చేస్తోంది. అధ్యయన కేంద్రాల ద్వారా ఏర్పాటు చేసే సలహా సంసర్గ తరగతులు, సైన్స్ ప్రాక్టికల్ సౌకర్యాలు విద్యార్థులకు స్వయం అధ్యయనానికి ఒక చక్కటి అవకాశం. ఇవి విద్యార్థి సమీపంలో ఉండే అధ్యయన కేంద్రం నుంచే పొందొచ్చు.
Hello viewers, a very good afternoon and welcome to the teleconference program of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Before we start the session, a small announcement. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar సార్వత్రిక విశ్వవిద్యాలయం BA, BSc, BCom డిగ్రీ కోర్సులో ప్రవేశానికి నిర్వహించే అర్హత పరీక్షకు ఆన్లైన్ ద్వారా అప్లై చేసుకోవడానికి ఆఖరు తేదీ 28 ఫిబ్రవరి 2014. దరఖాస్తు చేసుకోవటానికి సమీపంలోని అధ్యయన కేంద్రాన్ని కానీ లేదా AP ఆన్లైన్ సెంటర్ని కానీ సంప్రదించండి. పూర్తి వివరాల కోసం యూనివర్సిటీ యొక్క వెబ్సైట్ www.brau.ac.in దీనిలోకి లాగిన్ అయితే కనుక మీకు పూర్తి వివరాలు, అధ్యయన కేంద్రాలు ఎక్కడున్నాయి, AP ఆన్లైన్ కేంద్రాలు ఎక్కడున్నాయి అనేది పూర్తి వివరాలు తెలుస్తాయి. ఇది చూసుకొని మీరు BA, BSc, BCom కోర్సుల్లోకి 2014-15 అకాడమిక్ ఇయర్లోకి అడ్మిషన్ కావాలనుకుంటే కనుక, అంటే నాన్ ఫార్మల్ స్ట్రీమ్ ద్వారా అడ్మిషన్ కావాలనుకుంటే కనుక దానికి సంబంధించిన అర్హత పరీక్ష రాయటానికి దరఖాస్తు చేసుకోవడానికి ఆఖరి తేదీ 28 ఫిబ్రవరి 2014. Advertising management is a topic of today's discussion. This topic is selected from Product and Advertising Management course, that is MBA 42, belong to the third years of our MBA students who are doing the program with the marketing management specialization. Even first year students also have a course on marketing management. Hence, this session is useful for both first year as well as third year students. Advertisement in general is a message disseminated to the public to create awareness among them about the products produced, of course even the services which various organizations are offering. What is the purpose of the product? What are the different brands, of course, are available? What are the unique features of the brands, etc. But advertisement is a non-personal medium and it supports other promotional efforts. One particular point that has to be kept in mind while discussing with advertisement is mainly a paid form of disseminating the message or promoting a product. Hence, the companies, while advertising about the products, they have to consider 5 M's of advertising, that is mission, money, message, media and measurement. This is because today the companies are spending lakhs and even crores of rupees on advertisement. Earlier this many number of newspapers and TV channels are not there, but today there are so many newspapers, so many TV channels through which the companies are advertising about their products or services, and even they are using other means of advertising also, like internet, the websites and all these things. So, advertisement is really playing a very important role in promoting a product or even service. So, while designing the advertising plan, the companies must be very sure that what is the target group, what is the message they want to give and how they want to reach the target group. Then only the ultimate aim of the advertising, that is increasing the sales, can be achieved. Advertising management, of course, in a broad sense is designing the advertising strategy, implementing it and measuring the effectiveness of advertisement. To enlighten, to explain us more about advertising, what is advertising, what are the objectives and functions of advertising, what are the various types of advertising and how the message has to be designed, how the organizations have to take care of the economic and other related aspects of advertising, how to measure the effectiveness of advertising, all these things. We have two eminent resource persons with us today in our studios. On my immediate left is Dr. M. Anil Ramesh. Anil Ramesh is chairman PG programs of Shivashivani Institute of Management, and on my extreme left is Professor N.R.K. Reddy. Professor N.R.K. Reddy is director, Synergy School of Business. So, I welcome both of you, Professor N.R.K. and also Dr. Anil.
Thank you, ma'am.
And as you know, the resource persons will explain the various aspects relating to advertising and advertising management for about 40 minutes. And if you have any doubts on the said topic, then please make a note of the phone numbers which I am going to announce and seek clarification from the experts. The phone numbers are 040-2730-1431, 1432 and 1433. So, shall we start the session?
Yeah. Sure.
So, my question is, first question is to Dr. N.R.K. So, what is advertising and what is advertising management, the concepts?
At the outset, I welcome the viewers to the fascinating field of advertising. Advertising is a part of marketing. The moment we get up in the morning and we go to see a newspaper, so you see a lot of advertisements there. And advertising is a very relevant in today's world, and it is attached with our day-to-day life. So, we will see what is this advertisement is all about. It is, as madam has given already as a part of the introduction, this advertising is basically a paid form of a communication to pursue the customers and to pursue the customers in making their decisions in favor of our products and services. So, the first point is a paid form, number one. Number two, there is a sponsor sponsoring this advertising. Number three, there is a clear message either to communicate to the people or to persuade or to recall their memory. Okay. So, there are three kinds of objectives behind giving an advertisement of a product or a service. But today, if you look at the advertising as an industry, it is growing at the rate of 30 to 35% in India, and it is almost about 1600 crore worth of business we are churning out in advertising. So, advertising is one of the important fields of marketing.
So, what is advertising management?
Yeah. Management of advertising. So, we need to understand what constitutes the advertising as such. So, basically when we are advertising about a product or a service, we have something to communicate to the customer. What is that something? How we communicate? What is that we communicate? And how many times we communicate? We talk about the frequency and the message that we communicate, and who are all our target groups, and these are some of the basic components of advertising. Therefore, advertising management includes, it's composed of the end-to-end process of persuading the customers to make their decisions in favor of our products and services. So, first thing begins with the market research. Okay. When we conduct a market research, we get to know on what issues we can advertise, and market research gives us some kind of inputs with regard to our target group. And how do we reach the target group? Once you identify the target group, and you got to create a message, and how that message can be portrayed to the people, and what is that media that you choose, and which medium is going to be more effective. And once we do all this, basically making a copy of the advertisement, and after that execution, after that further is evaluation, whether the objectives of advertising. So as we talked about 5
yes.
M's, and we may talk about these 5
later,
M's in
yeah.
detail later, and whether we are able to reach the target group, and how do we evaluate and look at the results. Did we reach the desired results?
So almost from end to end, this
Yes.
put together is known as advertising management.
So all these issues, advertising related issues, how do we manage, how effectively we manage is part of the advertising management.
Thank you. So Dr. Anil, there are 2 different types of mix in marketing. One is a marketing mix and another is promotional mix. So what's the role of advertising in these 2 different types of mixes?
Thank you, ma'am. When I was listening to this fascination discussion between 2 experts, I was reminded by what my teacher said. He said that there are only 3 things which are inevitable in this world. He said one is advertising, the second the taxes, and the third is death. So apart from that, if you look at the definition of marketing management, it is analysis, planning, implementation and control of activities designed to create, develop and maintain mutually beneficial relations with the customer to attain organizational objectives. So in the above definition, if you see, we talked about activities. So these activities by marketing pundits are referred to as 4 Ps. So these 4 Ps are the marketing mix, which is the product or the service is what we are offering to the customer. The next P is price. Price is that the cost at which the customer wants to procure the product. The next P is the placement. Placement is nothing but the distribution of the product. By distribution, what we mean is how is the product moving from the manufacturer to the customer side. And finally, the most fascinating thing, which is the promotion. Promotion is the communication by the manufacturer to the customer that I have a wonderful product and you please buy it. So the first 4 Ps are the marketing mix, and the promotional mix has got again 4 elements, which are advertising. Advertising is the paid form of non-personal communication. Then we have publicity, then we have public relations, then we have sales promotions and personal selling. So the first elements are the marketing mix, madam, and promotional mix itself again has got elements.
Separate mix. So because of the keeping in view the importance of promoting a product, because the public should know what are the products or services that are available, then only they can just. So now Professor NRK, while answering my previous question, he used 1 or 2 words, that is publicity. And
right.
So is advertisement publicity one or same, or is there any difference between advertisement, publicity, and we come across another word that is propaganda?
Yes.
So all these 3 one and the same, or is there any difference?
There is a difference, but the objectives are the same, you see, to reach the customer. The first is advertisement, where we pay for the the service that we utilize. It's a paid form of communication, and it's impersonal, in the sense we are not individually focusing on one individual, and it's a mass communication, right? So whereas in publicity also this is going to the mass people, but the question is we are not paying for it. So see, one important thing with regard to advertisement is it's a controllable, because we are doing it from our end, and what to communicate and how much to communicate and whom to communicate is in our hands.
Yes.
But whereas in publicity, it's not the same, and publicity is not in our control. For example, when you make a movie, the movie makers make a lot of effort to bring out a movie, but when they release the movie, unfortunately somebody writes a write-up saying a review that the movie is good or bad, whatever.
So normally I think, sorry for the interruption, advertising may be positive always, because we highlight the positive characteristics, but whereas publicity may be positive or even negative.
It can be positive also, or it can be negative.
Negative also.
And publicity, it is mostly we intend to deliver a positive message, but when it goes into the public, and it goes with a word of mouth, so it can be negative also.
Yes.
And propaganda is basically a word derived from the church. It's a negative kind of message that goes. So it is basically a kind of a rumor, and to damage the image of the institution or the image of the religion. It can be an institution, it can be anything. So those kind of things come under propaganda. Mostly propaganda is considered as in negative connotation all the time.
So Anil, now I request you to throw some light on the functions of advertising.
Yeah, madam, like just now Professor YRK has been saying, advertising is a controllable in a sense that if the product can sell by itself, there is no advertising. But nowadays, as you have said in your opening remarks, the media has exploded, the number of choices have exploded. If you see, India has got one of the largest density of mobile phones. So if you were to look at your question, which is what are the functions of advertising, before that I would like to know, I would like to tell the viewers what are the effects, which means advertising is paid and it is very, very costly. So by doing advertisements, what is the chain of reactions or chain of effects that a manufacturer is looking at? The first thing that a company or a sponsor of an advertisement is looking at is to increase awareness. So first of all, the advertisement should create awareness in the minds of the customer, saying that there is a terrific product that is available. From awareness, we move them on to what is called as knowledge. So first of all, there is awareness, then the customer feels that he becomes more and more knowledgeable by the advertisement, which keeps on giving more and more information. Then they develop a sort of liking. So from liking, they move on to preference, and from preference they move on to conviction, and from conviction it moves on to purchase. So these are broadly the effects of advertising. Then if we look at what are the objectives, the first objective of any advertisement is to create a differentiator. There are a lot of Me Too products in the market. Me Too products are all products which look similar. So for example, let us take a Nokia mobile phone. It says I have got Microsoft Office in me. So that way it creates a differentiator from others who have got maybe an Android platform. Second thing is communication. So we are in this world where unless we shout and tell, people will not notice that we are available. The first thing is differentiator. The second thing is to communicate. The third thing is preference, where the customer goes. For example, I go to the shop and I say I want a chocolate. So he immediately says what chocolate? I will say Cadbury. So that is a preference of one product over another. And then most importantly, if you see very famous brands, they keep on advertising even when the customers know that the product is existing. So we call this as reminder or recall advertising, where we are literally brainwashed, and when we move into the shop, automatically we say the names of the famous products. And then obviously advertisements also urge us to use and use it more and more. So we become loyal and we become more, and we start using the product more and more. And advertisement is also a way of reducing the cost. So when we advertise, more and more people start to buy the product, and when more and more people start to buy the product, the unit cost of the product will start reducing. And by advertising, more and more distributors will come to the company and say that we also would like to distribute. So advertisement also helps in distribution. And finally, advertisement attracts new customers. So when they see advertisements, people who are not using also come back and start using the product.
Even when we go to market, whether we actually really need those products or not, some advertisement actually, as you said, we just recollect all those advertisements and we just buy the products. Yeah. After coming back to home, then why actually we buy all these products?
They are very persuasive, madam. They can make you buy products that you don't need also.
Yeah. No, NRK, will you please throw some light on the major decisions actually to be taken?
Yeah. To begin with, actually, I want to supplement what Dr. Anil was trying to say. The very objective of advertising is of twofold basically. One is to communicate, saying that I got a product or service which you need, please buy. So first objective. The second one is to manipulate, saying that my product is better than the competing products. So whether you advertise for the sake of communication or manipulation of the demand at the cost of some other product. Yeah. So these are the basic tenets on which the advertising is built. And coming to the major advertising decisions, basically we are talking about 5 E's, and these are basically the major decisions. The first one is the mission. What is the mission with which you wanted to advertise? So mission talks about your objective. So when we talk about objective, see, if it is a new company or a new product or new service that's coming into the light of the people, or you are trying to communicate to the people that we are new and we are first time, we are not aware of anything about this. So probably we are talking about informational advertisement. Okay. So that is one. So objective also talks about, is it for information or is it for recall, or is it for, they know about the product but still they are not buying. So in such case, probably we need to persuade further, and recall value will be there, and how many times, how frequently we advertise. So that is one advertisement. For example, there are many products that are known for the last 100 years, but still they keep on advertising.
Yeah.
So sometimes it so happens that there is some kind of a feeling about a product after purchasing, and consumers may feel, customers may feel that I did not buy a right product, probably my decision is not right. So this is called cognitive dissonance. Sometimes we may advertise to bring down the cognitive dissonance, and sometimes, for example, when you talk about a healthcare and a hospital, one hospital you take, and then probably people think that this particular hospital is pretty expensive, therefore it is not within my reach.
Yeah.
So in that case, that hospital may advertise saying that we are within the reach of the people and our charges are low. So probably the advertisement copy contains all the prices.
Yes,
and this is a kind of advertisement. That's one about the objective. So basically we talk about the first M called mission. The second one is about money, and there are different ways and means of advertising, but how much is the money that is available for you to advertise? And there is no end to this. And bigger companies, they spend almost about 8 to 9%. For example, Procter & Gamble is the leading company which is spending a lot of money now. So how much is the budget that you allocate? And depending on the budget, we identify the different media through which we can communicate to the customer. The third one is the message. What is that you wanted to communicate? If you talk about a product or service, you have a lot of attributes to communicate. For example, you take an educational institute, and what is that an educational institute is trying to communicate to the people? So do they say we give the excellent education, or we provide best placement, or anything else? For example,
as we are saying, at affordable
price.
Cost
it can be a lower price, and we are better in all these areas. So communicating is, you need a content. What is that content you wanted to communicate? So which attribute you want to focus? So basically we talk about USP, unique selling proposition. So the fourth M is a measurability. The media. Media is which media is going to be affordable for you, and which media is suitable for you. For example, the dudes, we talk about the young people, see 18 and above and below 35 years, called dudes. And where do these dudes available? So teens marketing basically talks about the people living in very Cosmo kind of a culture, and they are, you can catch them online. So therefore online advertising is the right choice. And maybe the bakery shops, and then the eat outs, and then probably the picnic centers, and then the costly malls, you can catch them there. So what kind of a media will be able to reach them? The last one is the measurability. After doing all this, are we reaching the goal or a destination? And once you conduct a survey and find out whether you get the desired results or not. And all these results lead to a bottom line called profit, or in terms of sales first, again measurable in terms of profit.
So mission, money, message, media, and measurement.
Measurability,
so
yes.
these are the
5 M's.
5 M's.
These are the decisions, marketing
to be
decisions
taken.
you got to take.
Okay. Anil, there are different stakeholders in the advertising world. So who are these stakeholders, and what are the benefits they get out of this advertisement?
Yeah, the stakeholders for an advertising industry would involve the customers. First of all, the customers are the people who want to release the advertisement. Then we have the media, which is maybe you can talk about the print media, the electronic media, the online media. The online media is really exploding. Then we have the advertising agencies who are in between. So because the advertisements are so very professional and they're so costly, like Professor Y.R.K. Reddy was talking about, and they're so critical, and an advertisement that is wrongly done can lead to loss in millions and even crores. So there are these advertising agencies which are in between. So we have the companies that release, we have the advertising agencies, we have the media. Then we also have lot of watchdogs which say that advertising is so very persuasive, like we were just now saying. Lot of products can be made to be purchased which are not needed. So we have lot of watchdogs like the Advertising Standards Council of India, which monitors the advertisements that are created, and any advertisement that is found to be objectionable can be released, and obviously the media at large, the government, all these people are also involved.
Okay.
So all put together, the stakeholders are many, and all of them are watching what is happening. For example, recently, even the advertisements that are released on the television are also being monitored. So that the stakeholders are very much, and they are very critical also.
Okay, thank you. So what are the different types of advertising, Professor N.R.K.?
Okay. You see, the purpose for which we are advertising, basically institutions advertise, so it's basically called institutional advertising. For example, in countries like Singapore, they advertise on the marriage. Marriage is an oldest institution.
Yes.
And young people don't get married, so the result is they don't have children. When they don't have children, they don't have working population in the next 15-20 years down the line. Therefore, the government spend a lot of money on encouraging people to get married. So this is an institutional advertising. And similarly, we have industrial advertising. For example, companies like BHEL produce turbines, and we are known in this field and we are specialized in this field. Therefore, it is
1 minute. I think one caller is ready.
okay.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
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 Hello. Please tell me.
Madam, I'm Venkat. I'm calling from Chennai. I would like to clarify a few questions from sir.
Yeah. Please tell me. Please proceed.
Sir, first of all, thank you, Saptagiri, for making this program. I'm very glad to see this program.
Thank you.
Basically, I have a few questions, madam. I just want to clarify this.
Please proceed.
Sir, good afternoon all. Actually, I'm completed my MBA in 2005 in marketing and human resource.
Okay.
I'm very much interested to continue my career in advertising industry, and moreover, I have a lot of prepared the copyright and I have a few of creative works I have done, but I didn't get a chance to work since I don't have experience in advertising industry, and I have settled now in the business consultant field. But I'm not satisfied since I want to settle in advertising. Could you please advise me which course I have to done and the further courses or any diploma course, something like that, so that I can make my career into advertising?
Yeah, sure. I request Professor NRK to respond. He did his marketing and HRM MBA and he just want to start his own advertising.
Okay. Basically, to start advertising as a career, you need to have a marketing degree, and it's not a necessity, but many of the advertising companies today are running without even an MBA in that company. But if you got a marketing knowledge, I think you are more relevant in the field. So what you need to do, probably many organizations, many institutions and universities are offering maybe diploma programs in advertising and mass communication area. So probably if you specialize in that area, maybe a 6 months certificate program, or maybe a postgraduate diploma in management for 1 year or 2 years, whatever, that gives you some kind of knowledge in that area, and maybe working in an advertising industry maybe for about 6 months to 1 year's time will give you hands-on experience. Then probably you can promote your own company.
And just to add what you said.
Can I add something?
Yeah, yeah, please.
I had worked in an advertising agency. There are 3 things that you can look at. First thing is, would you want to be in the marketing part? So we call this accounts management. For example, I was in the accounts field, in the sense that we were the people who used to go out and get the clients. And the second thing which you just now mentioned is called the creative. The creative departments are the people who design these advertisements. So, and the third one is the media planning. So all these 3 things are very, very critical. For example, I was a out and out marketing guy. So I settled as in the accounting department. Accounts means customers. The second thing is the creative department, and the third one is the media planning. So what I would suggest is, why don't you join some organization, maybe even at a meager salary, and try to get experience, and also do a diploma program, so that it will be very useful for you.
So first getting some exposure in the field and then starting his own firm may help. And in addition to this diploma program, I think if better he do some program and animation and all those things also, so that even the creative
It depends on his career.
Yeah,
exactly. He wants to be an employer, he wants to be an owner of a company.
No, actually he said that he wants to start his own.
In such case, he got especially in all the 3.
All the 3. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we are discussing types of advertising in our case.
In types of advertising, we are talking about institutional advertising, we are talking about product advertising, wherein we advertise about a single product. And we talk about brand advertising. Sometimes it so happens that an umbrella brand under which you have different products with the same company name, and there you wanted to popularize your company. For example, when we talk about a company like Sony, and people always recall that it's a good product, so in terms of quality, and therefore people are willing to pay a premium price. So it's basically to create a brand image. So what is the objective behind your advertising is going to be important here. So the next one is brand advertising, and sometimes it so happens the primary product. Say for example, using carpets in the home is always better, but we don't say which brand of carpet. Yes. So this is a basic product price, advertising. And secondly, after using that, chocolates are good or tea may be good for health and all that, but we don't say which tea is good. So subsequently you may again say that a particular brand of tea is good. So that's called specific brand advertising. So these are basically the direct and indirect kinds of advertising that we make. And in recent times we are also talking about the retail advertising. A retailer wants to attract more and more traffic, and he talks about in terms of more of a footfall measurement. So how many people are walking into my retail outlet? So there, how many people are buying what kind of a brand is a matter of a detail, and he may not be interested in that. He is interested in how many people are walking into my a particular retail outlet. So based on that, then he will be able to, sometimes he may produce his own brands and then sell. So label, he will put his own label. So label business is becoming able business now. Yes. So it so happens that he may sell a branded product or he may sell his own product. So therefore the interest of the retailer is to attract more traffic. Therefore the companies will consider him as a primary retail outlet, and probably they are willing to share a little more money as a fees for him or the reward that he does. So it basically talks about the merchandising. It is talking about consumer advertising, for example consumer products and FMCG products mostly concentrate on consumer advertising. These are different types of advertising mechanisms that we can look into.
Okay. So Anil, now I request you to explain the role of advertising agency in this advertising world.
Okay. So let us take an example of a company, let us call it X company. X company wants to, let us say, release one full page advertisement in, let's say, Enadu or Sakshi or Deccan Chronicle. The problem with these advertisements are, they are extremely expensive. For example, a front page advertisement could cost something between 8 to 10 lakhs. It's a lot of money for a small company. And it is, in principle, it is possible that this company can directly approach the press and get it released. But it is supposed to be completely unethical, and ASCII, the Advertising Standards Society of India, and Indian Newspaper Society, both of them actually frown against it. What happens is, this particular company has to first approach an advertising agency, and the advertising agency will do it on behalf of the client with the press. So in what happens is, the advertising agency will negotiate with whatever newspaper. They will buy the space on the behalf of the company, they will do the entire creative, they will get the creative approved by the company and release it on the behalf of the client to the press. So for doing all this, the advertising agency will charge 15%, and they are entirely responsible for the advertisement that is released. In fact, the advertising agencies are called as a 15% people.
Can't the company do it directly?
It can do it directly, madam, but the risk of a wrong advertisement. And also what happens is, the company is good at producing the product, it is not good at producing an advertisement. It is a very specialized job, and it should be left to the advertising agency to do it, because their core competence is producing the product and not producing an advertisement.
Okay.
So they should produce a product and leave it to people like maybe Alak Padamshri or maybe David Ogilvy to do the advertising on their behalf.
Okay. So NRK, what's the role of this client agency relationship? Because the company, because it's the owner of the product.
Yes.
So actually, how the dealing will be between the company and the agency?
Yeah. As Dr. Anil was trying to mention about the agency relationship and what is the role of an agency, advertising agency. You see, we consider advertising agent as a mediator. I think it's a bad word, to be very frank. And he is basically a business partner. So we have certain products and services with us, and we want to reach the customer. That's the objective. So in the process of reaching, you need specialized people to create a media which is relevant to this, to identify the target group, and it's all science. It is not simply communicating to the people saying that I got a product and you come and buy. It's not like that. It's all a science. So the metrics are very, very important. Therefore, from the initial stage onwards, you got to involve the agent, and he is basically a strategic business partner. Therefore, the success of our business, whether it is a growing or a boom or a doom, it is going to be determined on the media selection and the kind of a message that you send. Sometimes may Therefore, you require specialized people at that point of time and to do this specialized job. Therefore, instead of calling him as a mediator working for some kind of a money, it is better we consider him as a business partner, so that from the ideation stage onwards, the agent is going to involve in the process. And he will conduct a market survey, and this is your current visibility, and this is the visibility that you look at in the next 5 years down the line. To reach that stage, this is what you are expected to do. He is going to give you some kind of an advice. And this is possible only when he studies the existing system and existing products and existing customers. And this is possible only through a scientific study that can be done by only an agency. And agencies are experts in that area, and therefore they will be able to do this scientific job and then advise the company
in a more professional way.
Yeah. And again the agent, how much is the information that the agent gets depends on the agents and the company product and managers and etc. spend time together to understand the product.
Because the company has to give the right information first of all to the agent.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is possible only when they involve from the beginning, when the product idea stage, ideation stage is there, that time they involve. Therefore, they will get to know from the birth of the product and then this good and bad about the products. Therefore, they advise the right kind of a advertisement.
Yes. So Anil, let us shift to the most important aspect, that is the message. Nowadays there is a sea change. Actually, as we are discussing, a lot of creativity actually is required while drafting a message. So I request you to explain the importance of message, how the message can be drafted.
Okay, message, like you said, madam, has become very, very important. In let's say around 20-30 years ago, there was a lot of rational messaging, in the sense that we would show the product in a very factual way. We would give them all the information and let the customer take a decision which is very rational. For example, it could be a toilet cleaner. You simply say that this is how it can be used, this is how the germs can be killed, and that is how. Then finally we moved on to emotional advertising, where the senses are more appealed to. For example, the same advertisement of a toilet cleaner could make the homemaker believe that the house becomes more attractive, more visitors would come, she would become more environmentally friendly. But recently what we have seen is there is a shift towards more customization of advertising, in the sense that people are becoming very, very smart. Around 20-25 years ago, there was no Google. So whatever was said on the advertisement was more or less believed. Nowadays what happens is, even I as a customer, whenever I see an advertisement, I usually don't automatically believe it. So I go to the web, I go to the Google and search about it. So now advertising has become a big challenge, that you need to be rational, you need to be emotional. At the same time, the product has to deliver. For example, if Vodafone has done the Zuzus, the product was also very good. It is not that simply that Vodafone released the advertisement and people started buying it. The Zuzus were very good. At the same time, the product, the delivery was also very nice. So in the sense that messaging has become a big challenge, because the customers have become very, very aware. So whatever information that is available to the advertising agency and to the company, the same information is available to the customer also.
The message itself actually nowadays is motivating. Yes. We just want to go see the product and buy it. The message actually is really playing a very important role. I request NRK to add something more to this message.
This message appeal is important. See, you have a very limited time. Look at the constraints in which we are working. Yeah. And advertising is pretty expensive. And for example, when certain peak seasons during major sports, etc., to give an insertion of maybe around 20 minutes to 20 seconds to 30 second advertisement, yes, is going to cost anywhere around 3 million.
Yes.
And when you are spending that kind of money, and what is that you are going to communicate in that limited time, and how much is the benefit that you are going to get henceforth? So therefore, this copy making is a very, very creative job. This creative job has to be done by a specialist. And then how much is going to reach? For example, it has to within the frame. It has to be within the frame of the culture, the language. Language is one important, right? For example, I have seen Vodafone advertising once. Two children are are talking to each other, and then there is an affair between the two, and then a dog is coming and helping them, creating a love affair between the two. But you see, does it go well with the Indian standards? See, Indian culture doesn't promote that kind of a culture. And see, the children below 14 years can't be used like that, ethically, right? And it doesn't go well with Indian culture. Because children between the, below 14 years children, we can't see the affair of, whatsoever, which happens in the Western countries. So therefore, one has to be very clear in creating the message, which has to be creative, and it should be realistic. You can't cheat the customer twice. And there is certainly some kind of a dramatization, but the dramatization should have limits. And because you are going to be, tested. The people are putting this advertisement for an acid test. Saying in Telugu, there is a saying called Neti Beerakaayalo Enta Neyyi Undo. So the advertisement lo kuda enta reality undi. How much is the reality that we see in the advertisement? People check it. Once you can cheat, twice you can cheat. For example, some fairness creams that we are talking about, and then when you use for 5 weeks, and your complexion is going to be fair. And how fair and how lovely, we don't know about it. So therefore, and we are ethical standards also come into picture here. So therefore, and people are using it, and the experience, and what you say and what they experience, there should not be much of a difference. There may be 5% deviation here and there, people can understand. So the perceptive value of the customer is also equally important in designing the copy. So copy should be more of a realistic and more of a reachability. It has to reach realistic and simple and easy to understand. And maybe from a perspective of a designer, it's an excellent message, but ordinary person cannot understand. So
even of course, if your advertisement, even we cannot understand.
If you were to add, apart from the emotional and factual, we have 4 other types also, which one is called as a testimonial, where an expert will come and say, I have used it. So that means that it is very good, something like Sachin Tendulkar saying. And then we have what is called as humor, which Fevicol uses a lot, where for example, Fevicol as a product is a very boring product. It is not a product that will make people go and buy. So Fevicol uses humor as a very good way of passing on the message. And then we have comparative advertising, comparative messages, where in the modern world, like you just now said, even though we go and buy products, when let us take it's a costly product like a cell phone, or let us take an LED TV. There a lot of comparative things come into picture, saying that this is your price, this is my price, this is your features, this is my features, this is your benefit, this is my benefit. So there is an interplay of all this. For example, if we were to look at television as a medium, in television the emotional messages are given. In the early morning we are told we are very rational. So if you look at the print advertisements, they are all more factual based. So there is a play of all the messages. So it is not that the company will do only one thing. So they will do a mixture of all this, and that is what is called as integrated marketing communication.
Okay. So now let us take up another M, that is media. So NRK. So what are the different media that is available nowadays, and how to select the right media?
Yeah. That again is linked to the mission, the first YAM, the objectives that we have. Which media is suitable is going to be determined on the basis of the market research. Your market research clearly indicates, sometimes it so happens that when you are buying a car, for example, about 100 people walked into your showroom, but only 10 people purchased, and they are shown interest, and they have not purchased. And probably there is a need for some kind of a stimulus, some kind of a pressure, so that they will come and buy. Therefore, sales promotion we usually to clear the sales, and probably those who are made already decisions, right? And which media is going to be more suitable depends on the target group again. For example, if you are talking about an agricultural product, something like a pesticide, and probably you got to reach the rural folk, and rural customers are available in the rural India. What medium is going to be more useful to them is a print media if they are educated. Not in again other languages, but it should be in vernacular media. And what time it has to come? Early in the morning. If it is a advertisement in electronic media, maybe before they go to the farm, maybe after coming from the farm to home, maybe around 6 o'clock. You see the timings of these advertisements, if you see on television, either after 6 o'clock or before 7 o'clock in the morning. Say for example, Kellogg wants to promote their product for the children, and probably before they go to the school, and maybe they are back home by 4 o'clock. So you see all those child-related products on the screen maybe after 4 o'clock. And most of the TV serials and women-related products, etc., come because the housewives are there at home. So serials come during this time. So therefore, timing is important, and the medium selection is also important. For example, youngsters are available online. Say all these educated people, and then so that all depends on the nature of the product and your target group. Some products require a specialized, kind of a clarifications to be shown on the screen. If it is a technology based product, and you got to literally operate and show that's how this product is working, and it requires that kind of advertisement. Therefore, you see it on the electronic media, and you can't show that in a print media. So therefore, the nature of the product and the target group, these are some of the decisions that we need to take depending on the situation given.
So both print media and non-print media has to be used depending on the electronic media.
Now there are different other kinds of media sources also available, and like Facebook and other things as a part of the electronic virtual media.
Yes.
Yeah. If I were to add, madam, there are one or two media that we can also mention, like out of home. We used to call it as outdoor media. Now it is called out of
billboards
home.
And all
billboards, which are the media that is one thing very unique about OOH is the only media that doesn't come to you. You have to go to the media, and it is supposed to be one of the media that was not at all given a lot of preference. But it took a company like Amul to tell us how powerful the media is. For example, the hoardings of Amul are even today seen as very, very powerful. And one media that is slowly emerging and emerging very fast is the social media. For example, Facebook, then it is Twittering, Instagram, SMS, mobile. This is where the world is slowly moving up. For example, print media is almost dying. For example, a lot of famous newspapers in US have all closed down. So print is slowly decreasing. Television is doing all right, but the emerging media is social media.
But India print media is still
print is doing but if you were to look at the youngsters, they are more keyed on to the social media. For example, even for our college promotion, a lot of Facebook is being used. Facebook and Twitters and blogs and Instagrams. So print is there as a giving prestige and value to the product. But the first thing that the students are nowadays doing is when they get up is look at the Facebook, not at the newspaper.
That all depends again. To add to Dr. Anil, for example, tea is considered as an old product, old men's product rather. So youngsters are not interested in consuming tea now, and they consider that tea is an old men's product. Reading a newspaper, especially certain newspapers, only retired people will read this newspaper. Therefore, see, most of the colleges,
if they read newspapers, only read the newspapers through internet only.
Only when the teachers say, when the teachers ask them to read it.
Business
news.
Yes. Actually, we are discussing about this online marketing and all those things. So, when a product is actually placed for online, this thing, how to advertise about that product?
First thing is, online becomes very, very attractive for the generation, like the dudes that professor was saying, is there is lot of interactiveness. For example, the student can immediately see the advertisement, interact with it. He can go down to the counselor of the college, he can see what is an advertisement. So that is what makes it very, very attractive. And there are a lot of things that need to be taken care of, that the advertisement has to be very crisp. It has to have all the latest gadgets, like for example, when you put in advertisement, they should be able to log on to the Facebook, they should be able to give a Twitter message. So in that sense, that advertisements have become very, very crispy, and the language also has changed. For example, 20 years ago, there was a lot of English that was being used. Now they use a lot of English, and a lot of SMS language also is being used. So that way, a lot of agencies and companies are also getting tuned with their customers, who are very, very fast.
But when we are doing some online shopping, if we do physical shopping, okay, we go to the shop, see the product and then buy it. If we are doing online shopping, we don't see the product. So how to convey about the product?
Correct,
because sometimes even I do online shopping. I get lot of confusion sometimes. Whether really this product is really good, that color matches, or will there be any difference, the quality, what about the quality of the material or of the product?
I have a very different opinion about such thing, that in USA, it is almost that 80% of shopping is all online shopping, where you buy a product, and like you correctly said about the quality of the material or the texture, you get the product, and if you are not satisfied, give it back. I think in India, like you correctly said, it is still a mixed bag, in the sense that products which are not very costly we are buying online, and the moment the products becomes a little costlier, we check it on the internet, madam. See, the power of the online media is, I do all the research about the product that I want online, and then go offline and buy it from a shop. That way the online media is again helping.
Would you like to add something?
Yes, I think here the kind of products that we buy online is also important. How much is the risk involved in buying? So when the risk is limited, then we can afford to buy, number one. Number two, Nowadays, the branded products are standardized. Even if you go to the shop and what you have been shown on the screen is the same there.
Yes.
Say, for example, certain products like pens, right? For example, Big B advertises for a pen, and because of his endorsement again by the people and all that, that gives you some kind of a confidence that this product is reliable, because of the endorsement and by the brand ambassadors who are reliable and has got a stature in the society. So I have no hesitation in buying a Parker pen because it is advertised by Big B, and the risk involved is little, therefore I can afford to buy. So when I go there and see also, there is not much of a difference. Number two, you can cheat customer only once. So the companies are also becoming very wise to be more realistic, because I can't cheat the customers beyond once. Therefore, when there is a truthfulness in the product and what they say and what they deliver, I think the technically, and added to this, I think one more point that we need to discuss about is the technology that is available to the people. All that, what you want to see online, and you don't need to go to internet and all that. You got a mobile and through which you can see, and all those products are available in your palm top. So therefore, the technology, the kind of facility that you have, giving you that kind of a comfort zone. So therefore, it becomes easier for you to buy, and there is not much of a difference in what they show in the screen. Probably on the screen, the color of your dress may be different. And within that, again, they are also customizing. And what kind of a body structure you have, they put pictures. And on those pictures, this is how I look like. So click on that. And they will suggest you varieties of dresses. And then you pick this particular color. And then in the next few hours, it is there. And buying pizza online. And all these are easier because you have already tasted a pizza. And the standards, Maggi products, McDonald's products are standardized.
Yes.
So French fries cannot change. Whether I go to the shop or online I buy, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Except maybe the serving condition. If it is served hot, it's different. So they also ensure that it is served hot at home. Therefore, when the companies are very clear in delivering with a year-to-year smile, and obviously, I think people are willing to buy. So online is making tremendous success in terms of their sales.
Not only that, madam, for particularly some products, for example, I am buying airline tickets. Online is the best. There is a site called kayak.com which can compare the prices of all the airline fares throughout the world and give it. I am sure nobody offline can do it.
Yes.
Same thing could be taken for Red Bus. No. For some product categories, already
it's
completely online.
Yeah,
so there is offline
convenience.
It is more convenient to shop online. The tickets come home and you don't have to go anywhere to buy it.
And that saves a lot of time.
Time also,
time and effort, time
and waiting in queues.
And more so the education. They educate us the different alternatives that are there. Yes.
So NRK, I request you to throw some more light on advertising about the services, because product, they are tangible.
Right.
So, but while advertising about services, I think more care need to be taken because they are intangible.
Right. So services are intangibles and invisible. So therefore, you got to have a belief.
Yeah.
And the companies, those who are rendering that kind of services, need to put certain kinds of metrics. And say, usually when you are buying a service from a company, they say, this is my clientele. And this Tatas and Birlas purchase my product. Therefore, I am reliable. So clientele list is one. For example, if we are selling an educational services, and then say I got 80% of my faculty members are PhDs on board. So the PhD is one metric, and my placement success rate, and the company is recruited, and these are certain parameters and metrics, and on the basis of which the customer will get a clear idea what kind of an institution is this and what kind of education they deliver. So the alma mater and similarly the alumni associations of the colleges is a one proxy that you can see it's a good college or a bad college. And what is that you are trying to communicate to the people through advertisement again? Is it infrastructure or a quality of the faculty or a quality of the placements? These are certain metrics on which the customers can be convinced.
Yeah, maybe in hospitals also, they just put on the panel. These are the panel of our doctors.
Exactly. Panel of the doctors, yes.
That is a sellable point. Yeah,
yes.
That's the main one. And as we are discussing, this is the price actually are the amount we are charging for the various different types of surgeries or services,
right,
whatever it is. Now, Anil, the last aim, that is measurement. So, how to measure the effectiveness of the advertisement?
Advertisement and advertising agency has seen this idiom which says that 50% of whatever I spend is wasted, but I don't know which 50%. So, you could have two ways of measurement. One is pre-measurement, which is before the advertisement campaign is done and launched. What happens here is the advertisements can be shown to a consumer jury. A jury of consumers would be asked to come to the advertising agency, and advertisements can be shown, and there is a portfolio of advertisements that can be created, and the consumer jury would sit and say that this advertisement I like because of this reasons, this advertisement I don't like because of these reasons. And nowadays lot of mechanical devices have been devised where the consumer jury is put onto a chair and lot of devices are actually strapped onto them, and so whenever they see an advertisement that excites, obviously the physiological change in the human being can be tested out, and lot of pupillometers, lot of devices, mechanical devices have been made. So this is pre-testing, and post-testing what can be done is we can have a recall. For example, if you do a product, let's say like a Maggie, so the advertisements could be top of the mind. When an advertisement is released, the consumers could be
mind share.
Yeah, is it top of the mind or is it aided recall or unaided recall? And then obviously the biggest measure is whether a sale has occurred or not.
Correct.
If the sale is not coming through, but why I did not put it right at the front is the sale is automatically not because of advertising. There are so many other variables, but sale is also a part. And second thing is, for example, if you put an advertisement in newspaper, how many people are responding? So one way a company can do is it can put a small sticker at the bottom of an advertisement. It says that cut out this and send it back to us, by which we again will know. And a lot of juries can also be formed, and that is a way of measurement.
Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Anil, and also Professor NRK for sparing your valuable time and being with us today, and really sharing very interesting things about advertising. Thank you very much. Thank you.